wonder if the words, "I wish I could copy Nikola Jokic's footwork," have ever been uttered. But they should be, because you don't need to be 7 foot to benefit from learning how one of the most unique players in pro sports moves through space. Jokić easily has some of the best spatial awareness in the league, and he's able to get looks and open shots where others would get locked up in a second. People don't think of Jokić as a Kyrie type player, but like I just said, he does get open looks in the NBA, and that doesn't just happen by accident. There's plenty of tall, bulky dudes out there that can shoot that aren't in the league, so he's doing something different that allows him to get shots off versus all the other armchair point guards out there. And that something is his unique footwork that gives him the time to use his superhuman touch and vision. Without that base underneath of him, the rest of it all falls apart. Now, Nikola Jokić seems to break the rules of traditional pro basketball biomechanics. The lateral swaying, upper body compensation, zero explosion, but he gets better results than players who appear more adept at basketball-specific footwork. Because it's not always about looking technically perfect, it's about what's most efficient for your own unique kinetic chain and controlling your body for whatever particular sport you might be playing with the particular body you may inhabit. Now, Jokić has 2 unique biomechanical signatures. One when he is running the court, and the other one when he is matching up. And each is just as fascinating as the other, and even though a lot of what makes Jokić is his inherent talent, there are some ways to learn some of his skills and incorporate them into your game. 7 foot tall, or like me, maybe a little less. All right, so let's just start with his regular jogging, up and down gait. Jokic's gait is deliberate and energy conserving and uses his full kinetic chain to absorb shock and protect joints. And it often looks like the Drunken Master style of martial arts, which is like a swaying off balance type behavior that mimics someone who's intoxicated, while masking a highly controlled strategic and deceptive fighting style. And the Jokić, full sprint has become like almost a meme at this point, whether it be sprinting in the back of an arena, racing a bullet train. When he's hauling, it looks a bit wobbly, but what you are seeing is him disproportionately using his upper body to create forward motion. Because you'll notice he doesn't have a lot of vertical oscillation in his legs, and you actually see this in people with certain muscle weaknesses, back pain, neurological issues, because they're either trying to offload a painful area or splint a weaker muscle group or mask a neurological issue. But in Jokic's case, he uses this to reduce cumulative stress on a larger frame over a long season. So what's happening here is his trunk and upper body are not only pumping, but also rotating more than others to create forward momentum. So no, it's not the fastest way from point A to point B, but if it keeps your knees and ankles less painful throughout a season, who cares? He's not trying to race anyone anyway. It's more important for him to be available for the playoffs. This is also why you don't see him dunking hardly ever. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze. Literally on those joints. But that's just his basic, up and down gait. The other part of his footwork game is his one-on-one technique, or his matchup technique. Now, first and foremost, Nikola Jokić has world-class proprioception. His brain knows where his feet are on court much better than most other players, even the elite movers out there. And because his proprioception and spatial awareness is so good, he can use asymmetry in his footwork to throw people off, not flashy, quick feet and ball handling. And a lot of the time in these matchups, he's counting on people having zero clue how he's gonna finish. And not in the way you think of like Ja, where it's like some insane flourish, but more in the way of, how is it possible this dude is gonna get this shot off? Then he does. Because even for his frame and size, Jokić can shift balance from one hip to the other very easy and smooth, like very efficiently, and appear like he's struggling, much like a Drunken Master, while having that inherent footwork IQ to know exactly which spot he needs to get get a shot off, while simultaneously knowing exactly which direction he has to go to throw that defender off. And a lot of it is something that really can't be taught. It's all happening subconsciously in a split second. Yeah, the final sequence seems slow and, quote unquote drunken, but what people don't see is that he won that matchup, that battle, long before the final release. Now, if you want to try to learn from this, what he's doing, the best thing to do is to practice spatial awareness, which, like I said, I will get to in a minute after I just give the full context of his more signature move, the somber shuffle. And that move is a one-legged fadeaway jump shot, but it's not just a fall-away jumper. He's always pivoting and twisting into that last sequence. And if you would see how many people I've seen sprain or break their ankles trying something similar to this, you would be petrified to ever step on a basketball court. Yet Jokić does it all the time in a larger frame and with some of the best defenders in the world breathing down his neck. Yet he always stays balanced, and even more important, finds his final push-off point and range at the end of that move, to sink these shots. You can't do this without world-class spatial awareness. Now the caveat to this, of course, is that Jokić also has the mass to just bully people around and the accuracy of an Olympic biathlete, so when you have the option of just running through people, yeah, just adds one more thing your defender has to think about. And that respect for getting bowled over and the respect for his accuracy, like I said, gives him that one extra split second as well, and you start adding all of them up, and yeah, that's why his production is so good. All right, let's talk about his superpower, the spatial awareness. Like I said, most of it is just a gift Jokić has. He is just naturally gifted, but there are things you can do to improve your spatial awareness and proprioception. Some might seem a little crazy, a little weird, but all these have been tested and proven to work. Number 1, dribbling while solving math problems. Number 2 is navigating cones while spelling random words. You need a partner to call them out. Number 3 is playing catch while spelling backwards. Number 4 is doing yoga without mirrors or an instructor directly in front of you. Number 5, one of my favorite, is balance or BAPS boards. And number 6, which is probably the most effective, is martial arts. So if you do have a larger frame and want to get more effective footwork, or you just want to take some of the lessons from Nikola Jokić, those are great ways to implement some of his game into yours. And speaking of unique but very effective footwork, if you want to see a devil's advocate for Luka Doncic's heavier frame and how it can actually help him, yes, I'm aware of the benefits of weight loss, but with all pros comes some cons, and this one is pretty neat to look at. So make sure you check out this video right here if you want to take a deep dive into his super unique and fascinating footwork. I'll see you in that video.